Hey, what's up guys? This is Brandon here again at Emerald Coast Pro Plus Detailing in Gulf Breeze, Florida, doing round 2 of the all-in-one battle here at the detail room. Alright, so this is round 2, so this is the second edition or rendition of basically comparing some all-in-one polishes to see which one kind of comes out with the crown as the king, as the LeBron James of all-in-one. So we did round 1 where we featured Angel Wax, Optimum, GPS, and 3D Speed. This round, there are 2 all-in-ones you may not have heard of. They're ones that I use that are pretty good, so I wanted to highlight them in this comparison here. So the first is going to be Clearfinish One Shot. It's basically a combination of their compound and their polish with a silica additive. The second, I buy it in gallons, so I don't actually have a legitimate bottle for it, but I do have the logo here. This is a Biotech. You might have seen some of the shirts that I wear. They are a company local to Florida. I do support them. They make some great products. So this is their all-in-one. It is a very nice all-in-one, very smooth, smells like coconuts. It does have a sort of hybrid wax to it. So it's something a little bit different as far as protection goes. And then lastly, something kind of similar to the Biotech, obviously a company you guys have probably seen, meguiars. Their d166, their all-in-one ultra polishing wax. So that's got some polishes, some compounds, and then obviously their wax additive in there for protection. So what we're gonna do is we have this 1993 Cadillac with some really beat up paint. It's a dark color, which is good, so we'll be able to see the before and afters. Basically, we have this nice flat, swirled and scratched up hood. We're gonna tape it off. We're gonna do 3 sections. We're gonna be using a griots Bosch G21. It is my weapon of choice. And we're gonna be using some Lake Country force pads. I like these pads just because they're a little bit different than the HGO pad. I know the HGO is a very popular pad. I feel this one is a little bit more firmness to it. It works a little bit better with certain grades of paint. This being older paint, we'll be able to really kind of lay into it. So I will be putting a little bit more force, a little bit more pressure on this paint because it is so bad, and you'll see that in the video. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna section it off. We're gonna hit each section about 60 to 70 seconds. Different pads for each one so we don't cross-contaminate all-in-one polishes. We're going to do a solvent wipe to make sure there's no fillers and see. All right, before we do the hyperlapse here, just so you can see what we're working with, pretty messed up paint. Like I said, this is a 93, so it's going to have its fair share of defects. So here we're going to go with meguiars. We're going to go in the opposite direction, which I had it. We're going to go meguiars here. We're going to go Biotech all-in-one right here. And we're going to go Clearfinish One Shot right here. So, sit back and enjoy. And the results. So, first section was meguiars D166, second was Biotech, third was Clearfinish One Shot. So, we have the before section, and then after. The pros to meguiars was it was very smooth to go on, easy to wipe off. The cons is it kind of dried out, like right around here it was good. And then as I went up, it just felt like there was nothing there. And you can kind of see that there's not really a lot of repair there. So I feel like this is an all-in-one that's not really meant for heavy jobs like this. It's more of a lipstick job, where maybe a car that just has very light defects, and it's something that's it's just very light. I mean, it didn't do a bad job right here, but like I said, it just kind of diminished. It almost dried out. There's a little bit of dust. And then when you got up here, it was basically invisible. There was just nothing going on. It just felt like I was spreading product. There was no cut, there was no grab, no bite. So it started off okay, but didn't really finish too well. So it did enhance the gloss, which is good, but as far as deep defects, lacks that punch. Biotech all-in-one. Pretty good results here. Like I said, this may be a all-in-one or a company that you've never heard of. They're kind of small, but they do make good products. So you can see the before and you can see the after. And that's it's a really solid job there. You know, obviously there's still some deep scratches and stuff like that, but as far as swirl reduction goes, it's, you know, clarity enhancement, that's pretty good. Lastly here we got One Shot and did a pretty good job. Now sometimes you can get that little streaking-ish stuff because it's got silica in it, so sometimes you have to work it in a little bit more. But overall, it definitely cleaned up the most. One thing I wanted to try to see if I could pick it up here was the side-by-side here with clear finish. You can see it actually got rid of a lot of the scratches, and there were still some on the biotech side. It's kind of hard to pick up. It might be a little bit better right there. So you can see it definitely packs a little bit more cut. And like I said, overall, definitely reduces a ton of those swirls. But this is kind of similar to angel wax, which this will be a comparison. Good comparison is that because it has silica in it, sometimes you have to work it in. You get that kind of like streaking, which you can see that I'm picking up in the light. But you work it in a little bit longer, and it typically knocks it down. Once you kind of get that method, it's like clockwork. So, but definitely a very good before and after. It's a very strong all-in-one. Like I said, it's awesome. You know, realistically here, I mean, I think you know, you got to give the edge here to One Shot, but you know, Biotech, I think that's kind of an eye-opener. You know, definitely outperform meguiars, but One Shot's, people who use it know it. It is a quality all-in-one. You can do some damage with it for sure. But don't sleep on Biotech's versatility. It can definitely do, like I said, just as good of a job as far as, you know, reducing swirls and things like that. So pretty cool comparison to see. So we'll do the wrap up now. All right, so I did a solvent prep wipe there, and really not a ton of fillers. I mean, maybe a little bit in the meguiars. It looks a little bit worse, which again, there's wax in there, so that's to be expected. And I think I again have schmutz on my lens. But yeah, I think the meguiars kind of looks worse. So I think there are definitely some fillers in there. Biotech pretty much looks the same. And One Shot pretty much looks the same. So I'm not really seeing too many fillers. I'm sure there's a little bit in the Biotech and the clear finish One Shot, but meguiars to me look that looks worse. This car would definitely not be a compatible fit for the meguiars, but Biotech and clear finish One Shot with definitely some impressive results there. So check them out as we do this recap here of everything.
All right, guys, well, there you have it. That was a round dose of the all-in-one battle. So we might have done a couple products or companies here that you haven't heard of, but that's why we do these, to get the word out there, to show you that there's a lot of effective products out there that can work great. So kind of the pros and cons of each, starting with meguiars. Probably the only pro was it wiped very easy. However, I feel it's a product that you have to use a lot of. It lacks a lot of cut. It's got decent lubricity, but it's really not meant for heavy cars like this. So it's something that I think has a smaller, I guess, area of what you would use it on. There's not a wider variety of cars. They're cars that aren't going to be as damaged or as neglected, maybe just like I said, kind of like a lipstick job. Overall, I really wasn't impressed with the meguiars. Like I said, it wiped easy, but that really shouldn't be a factor. There's a lot of all-in-ones out there that wipe away very simply. So the meguiars kind of let me down on this one. It's just not a product that I would really use. Maybe for more of an enthusiast or a weekend warrior.
As far as running an efficient business or trying to get good profitability out of a job, not really something that I would bring to my shop. Moving on to the biotech all-in-one. Very impressed with this. It is a product I use. It's here or there, it really just depends on how I'm feeling, but I was really impressed with how well it cleaned up this bad of a car. It didn't get rid of everything, but I think for an all-in-one it was very effective and very efficient. Moving on to, in my opinion, the winner of this competition would be Clear Finish One Shot. I would say the only downside to One Shot was if you overwork the product. It's kind of similar to our last comparison with Angel Wax, where you kind of have to work it to that right time or you get that streaking. Because this is a silica-based product, it is most likely going to give you the best protection and longevity out of these three, but you kind of have to wait to get the pad prime. So in the beginning it's kind of rough, but then once you get the pad prime and kind of get the flow of how the product works, it's very easy and very effective. Obviously we were able to polish this car and it looks great for a 93. But it was kind of like the last comparison that we did where Optimum GPS and Angel Wax Enigma were right there. GPS wasn't too far behind. So again, it's not to say that you know, the biotech is a bad product. It definitely surprised me in this one. Using it in the past, you know, I was kind of like on the fence, and this really proved that, hey, it is a great product. But like I said, Clear Finish, those people who know Clear Finish and use it, it is a heavy all-in-one. It can, there's a lot of guys who use it when they do coatings. Not that I would recommend that, but they want something that'll cut, polish, boom in one step. But they don't want that heavy abrasiveness with P1, the compound, so they go to One Shot. It's that nice blend of the compound and the polish. But it is a very, very heavy all-in-one. Can get rid of heavy defects. So really no surprise that this comes out as the winner. But like I said, the biotech all-in-one really impressed me. The meguiars, like I said, that's the clear loser in this scenario here. So, but much like our last comparison where we had Angel Wax and Optimum GPS, here we have One Shot and biotech. And really what we're going to do is take the winners from each of these comparisons and put them in a, I guess, a championship round and see if they can be the Golden State Warriors or Lakers or whatever team you want to compare them to, and see who really is the king of all-in-one. So I will post links for these companies in the description. If you enjoyed what you've seen, please give me a thumbs up, a like, or a subscribe. If you are hiding from the coronavirus and you don't want to watch any videos and you are in self-quarantine, I am sorry, but you can social distance yourself and watch these videos and like them. So, hopefully you enjoyed everything today. We will have round 3 where we will show, we're bringing 3D back, so 3D AAT 505, which is their all-in-one. It's supposed to be heavier and better than 3D Speed. We will also have Menzerna 3-in-1 and Griots Garage. So that will be round 3, and then maybe we'll have a toilet bowl and see who's worse of all the 3, and then who's best of all the 3 rounds. We'll be doing that video at some point, either this week or next week, and get it posted up for you guys. So again, thank you, like and subscribe, comments in the description box, and look for these links for these products in the comment section. Thanks, guys.
Follow